Chapter 41, The Battle in the Heavenly King Realm. I want to write it into the family tree. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What should we do now? It is very likely that there is more than one Heavenly King in the Kunlun sect. I can feel that there seems to be an even more terrifying aura in those attics. Yes, I feel it too, in the void, a divine thought echoed. Let's wait and see what happens. The Nine Nether Dynasty is not simple. Let's see the strength of the Kunlun sect. Humph, you are really going backwards. Even if there is more than one Heavenly King in the Kunlun sect, can you still turn the world upside down in front of us? A powerful divine thought mocked, and then the other divine thoughts were silent. Yes. They all entered the Heavenly King realm 10,000 years ago. Each of them is an existence that overlooks the southern wilderness. Even if they face a strong man of the same realm as themselves, they will not have the intention of retreating, but now the aura of the green-clothed figure actually moved their unchanged state of mind for 10,000 years at this moment. It is obviously only the first level of the Heavenly King realm, but the aura is more terrifying than the aura of their fifth level of cultivation. They really couldn't figure it out. Was that blue-clothed figure really at the first level of the Heavenly King realm? They were all old guys who had lived for tens of thousands of years, and their knowledge and strength were extremely powerful, but the more so, the more afraid they were of death. Hiss. Elder Chen is actually a great man in the Heavenly King realm. Lin Yun, Luo Wuxuan, and others were extremely shocked, especially Qin Lan, who was full of shock. He clearly felt Chen Beishuan's cultivation that day, and it was definitely not at the Heavenly King realm. Because Chen Beishian had no mana at all at that time, at this moment, several people were very glad that they had made the choice to become Kunlun's people. At this moment, they dared not imagine how strong Kunlun's foundation was. It turned out that what they saw was just the tip of the iceberg. In the void, facing Chen Beishuan's terrifying aura and pressure, the face of the Joyo elder was full of solemn fear, and there was no longer the look of looking down on everything from a high position before. Boom. The cultivation of the fifth level of the Heavenly King realm burst out from his body in an instant, and the extremely violent power filled the world, and the sky was suddenly filled with wind and clouds. In just a moment, two terrifying auras that seemed to be able to crush the world and shatter all space suddenly collided with each other when the two raised their hands at the same time. Boom. Bang. A deafening sound like thunder resounded through the world. Then, two terrifying invisible auras exploded in the void in an instant. Boom. The powerful aura fluctuation force suddenly rushed out from the center of the explosion, and the terrifying aura swept away the clouds in the void in an instant. At this moment, except for Lu Qin, Wang Ming, and the other two, everyone present suddenly widened their eyes, with shock on their faces, and a sense of fear suddenly surged in their hearts. Even when Qin Ruoxian looked at Chen Beishian in the void, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes, and he could not help but turn his eyes to Lu Chen, who looked calm. At this moment, he wanted to know Lu Chen's strength, because just now under the two terrifying auras, a wisp of breath that came out of Lu Chen's body blocked the pressure of these two powerful auras. Otherwise, even they would be seriously injured under these two powerful auras. The strength of the Heavenly King realm is no joke. The aura alone is not something that the cave void realm can withstand. What's more, their current cultivation is not even at the transformation realm. Ah! Ah! Elder, save me, save us. Obviously, the people of the Nine Nether Dynasty are the best example. At this moment, the warship has already exploded under the impact of the explosion of the two auras. Bang bang bang. Countless blood mists exploded in the air. In an instant, the air was filled with miserable shouts, and the thick smell of blood filled the surrounding space. Even the Joyo Prince, who was half a step into the Heavenly King realm, was blown apart by the force of the explosion and turned into a ball of blood mist. Seeing this. Ah! You deserve to die. In the void, the Joyo elder, who had finally stabilized his body, had an extremely gloomy face at this moment. He looked at the scene in front of him and his eyes were filled with endless anger. He roared angrily. He didn't expect that the man in blue in front of him was so strong. His fifth level cultivation and momentum in the Heavenly King realm collided with him, but he was suppressed to death. This made him extremely angry and wanted to destroy the man in blue in front of him. I want you to die, the roar roared out of his mouth. Hearing this, Chen Beixian sneered. Ha, you roar incompetently. With your weak strength, you dare to come to my Kunlun to cause trouble. You don't know whether you live or die, what a pretense. Lu Chen, who had his hands behind his back, heard this and couldn't help but want to give Chen Beixian a thumbs up. Not bad, you have my style. What I want in Kunlun is the status. Hearing the other party's words that he didn't take him seriously at all, the elder of Juyo clan had lived for tens of thousands of years and had never suffered such humiliation. Ah! Damn it! You deserve to die. Buzzed out. A breathtaking blood-red long sword appeared in his skinny hand, and the blade was glowing with blood-red light. It was his Heavenly King war weapon, the soul-eating sword. With this sword in hand, the world is mine. At this moment, the mana in the body of Juyo clan elder gushed out, and his aura became stronger again. The Heavenly King mana in his body gathered crazily on the Heavenly King war weapon, and endless anger surged in his heart, and he suddenly slashed a terrifying sword at Chen Beixian. Die, the soul-devouring sword, with the blessing of mana, turned into a 1,000-foot-long sword and appeared in the sky, carrying the terrifying sword energy that could split the world and crash down towards Chen Beixian's position. Boom. Crack, a cracking sound was heard, and it was obvious that a 1,000-foot crack had been split in the space above. Endless black holes of the void appeared in front of everyone. The great power of the Heavenly King realm was so terrifying. This old man of the Nine Nether dynasty is really quite strong. This sword may have reached the 6th level of the Heavenly King. In the path of cultivation, one realm and one level, even a small realm is like a natural chasm, but Chen Beixian is the strongest person in the world summoned by the system, and common sense cannot be used to explain his true combat power. Yes, the people of Kunlun sect are afraid that they will die under this sword. Hehe, it's time for us to take action. In the void, several divine thoughts were communicating quickly. What a bunch of idiots. They played Go-E to perfection. Little did they know that they were also prey in Lu Chen's eyes. Huh. A group of juniors are here. They are really not afraid of death. A divine thought sensed countless figures appearing in the sky 100 miles away, staring at the scene in the sky in amazement. Hiss. What a terrifying aura. That's actually 2 Heavenly King realm masters fighting. No wonder there was a terrifying aura as soon as I arrived in Qingzhou. It seems that the rumors are true. The Kunlun sect is really a hidden sect. Not only does it have Heavenly King realm masters, but the sect is actually in this immortal burial mountain range. Fuck. What a bullshit forbidden land. What are the records in ancient books? This is clearly a treasure land for cultivation. A cultivator cursed, wishing he could dig the person mentioned in the ancient book out of the ground and grind him to ashes. At this time, someone couldn't help but shout excitedly. Fuck. Hurry up and fight. Hurry up and fight. This trip is worth it. I can brag about it for the rest of my life when I can see the great masters of the Heavenly King realm fighting. What the hell are you? Do you have any ambition at all? Can you be as courageous as me? I want to write it into my family tree. Countless cultivators watched the scene in the void 100 miles away, their faces showing excitement, their eyes filled with shock, and they kept discussing. This is what is called watching the excitement without minding the trouble. In the void, seeing that the terrifying knife was about to fall, Chen Beixian's face never showed any panic, but grinned, and the aura of the King of Coercion was revealed on him at this moment. Big guys, the author is working hard tonight. Make up for today's other chapter. Try to update 5 chapters tomorrow. Chapter 42, A powerful person in the Heavenly King realm was destroyed with one sword. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Then, an aura more terrifying than that of the elder of the Nine Nether clan burst out from Chen Beixian's body. At this moment, the space was shaking violently. He flipped his left hand, and a long sword with a dark green light appeared in his hand. Yes, Chen Beixian is a swordsman. The majestic mana in his body surged out, and a powerful mana visible to the naked eye was entangled on the long sword, and the mana light bloomed with a glittering scene. Chen Beixian raised his hand slowly and waved it, and 1,000-foot green light sword energy whistled out from the long sword. Sizzle, that the terrifying green sword energy instantly cut through the layers of space and broke through the air towards the giant sword. Bang, that a huge cracking sound sounded, and the 1,000-foot giant sword collided with the green sword energy, and the huge power of the sword energy instantly cut the giant sword apart. Suddenly, everyone stared at the void with wide eyes, and saw the 1,000-foot giant sword break apart in an instant. The powerful giant sword suddenly broke apart, and countless fragments of the Heavenly King's war weapons fell from the sky. Ah! No! How? How is it possible? At this time, the elder of the Jiuyo clan roared with a pale face. Just when he was about to use the mana in his body to fight to the death again, a sense of death instantly surged from his feet to his heart, but before he could react, the terrifying sword energy never disappeared and swept towards him. The green sword energy instantly submerged him in it. Ah! How dare you! Ah! No! Let me go! Old ancestor, I will not let you Kunlun sect go. The painful screams continued to come out from the huge sword energy, and everyone couldn't help but shudder and feel cold on their backs. After a while, the screams stopped abruptly, and the huge sword energy also dissipated in the air. There was no trace of the elder of the 9 Nether clan in the air, and he had obviously been annihilated by the sword energy. Zizizi, that the 2 huge cracks in the void were slowly repaired by the inexplicable power between heaven and earth. Everyone looked at the 2,000-foot space cracks in the void, and couldn't help but take a breath. After a while, the void returned to calm, as if nothing had happened. Hiss. Too horrible. A great king of heaven actually fell like this. In the square. This is the elder of my Kunlun. Too strong. Lin Yun, Ling Shui and others instantly widened their eyes and looked at the sky with shocked expressions, and then their faces showed excitement. At this time, outside the sky, the southern wilderness cultivators were stunned in the air, and it took a long time for them to come back to their senses. Some cultivators looked at the green figure in the distant void, and their faces suddenly changed, and their voices couldn't help but tremble. It's him! It's him! It's him! Everyone. Fuck. What's he? You tell me, damn it, you scared me. After a while, someone seemed to understand something, his face changed, and he said hurriedly. You mean? Before the man finished speaking, he was interrupted. It can't be wrong. That green figure is the guard elder of Kunlun sect. What? Heaven, the great power of the Heavenly King realm is actually just a guard elder. Hiss. What kind of sect is this Kunlun sect? At this moment, everyone here was shocked, and they couldn't help but take a deep breath, and then slowly calmed down the shock and trembling in their hearts. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would never believe it. What kind of sect can be so arrogant as to dare to use the great power of the Heavenly King realm as a guard elder? But at this moment, everyone knows one thing: after today, the word Kunlun will completely shake the entire southern wilderness. At the same time that 1,000,000 miles away in the East Sky region, Yuzhou, the 9 Nether dynasty, deep in the ancestral land of the 9 Nether dynasty, an old figure sat cross-legged on a cushion, suddenly opened his eyes, and a breathtaking divine light burst out from his old eyes. Then, he looked at the center of the ancient hall. There should have been 5 rays of light from the source of life, but at this moment only 4 rays of light were on, which meant that the person who extinguished the source of life had fallen, and his face suddenly changed. Boom! A terrifying breath like the abyss flowed out from his old body, roaring. Looking for death. Who on earth killed Yuming? Yuming was the elder of the 9 Nether clan who died at the hands of Chen Beixian. As the voice fell, the old figure disappeared instantly. In a flash, he appeared above the 9 Nether King's city. An extremely terrifying aura rolled out from him. He glanced at the palace below, his face was extremely gloomy, and he shouted coldly. The current ruler of the dynasty, get out here. Swoosh! As soon as the words fell, a middle-aged man in a royal robe rushed out of a hall and came to the old man. After looking at the old man, his face changed instantly and he exclaimed, "The three elders." Then, he bowed his head and said respectfully, and at the same time he was shocked in his heart. What happened to wake up the three elders from their deep sleep? The current ruler, Yoli, greets the three elders. The three elders looked at Yoli and said with a gloomy face, "Old Five has fallen. Tell me, what happened and where did Old Five go?" As soon as the words fell, boom. The head of the Lord of the Nine Netherworld was blasted and his feet went soft with fright. He almost fell from the air without standing firmly. He said with a trembling voice in disbelief, "The 5 clan elders have fallen. No. How is it possible? The 5 clan elders are at the Heavenly King level. How can the Kunlun sect, how is it possible? Tell me, what Kunlun sect?" The 3 clan elders shouted coldly, and the Lord of the Nine Netherworld was shaken and his mind was awakened. He quickly told the 3 clan elders about Kunlun and the ancient token. What hidden sect? Kunlun sect. Dare to kill the 5th elder, I will make this Kunlun sect disappear from the world completely, that the 3 clan elders said with a gloomy face, and they were about to leave for the southern wilderness. 3 clan elders. This matter needs to be discussed in the long run, seeing that the 3 clan elders were about to break through the air, the Lord of the Nine Netherworld changed his face and tried to persuade them. Hearing this, the 3 elders' eyes condensed, and they looked at Yoli with a fascinating look. Are you teaching me how to do things? Click. With just one glance, the Lord of Joyo was immediately frightened and broke out in a cold sweat, and said in a trembling voice. Yoli, no, I dare not, but I just think that Kunlun sect is extremely extraordinary. Even the 5 elders, the 5th level of the Heavenly King realm have fallen in the hands of the Kunlun sect. I'm afraid that Kunlun sect has a Heavenly King of the 5th level or above. Having said this, Yoli glanced at the 3 elders cautiously. Hearing this, the 3 elders, who were originally full of murderous intent, couldn't help but glance at Yoli, and then calmed down, and for a while they actually pondered. What Yoli said is not unreasonable. The strength of the old 5 can fight even if it is the 6th level of the Heavenly King realm. It seems that the person who can kill the old 5 has at least reached the 7th level. He is also the 7th level of the Heavenly King realm. If the Kunlun sect is really a hidden sect, it is afraid of death without knowing a Heavenly King realm. Even if he went, it is very likely that he would not get any benefit. It seems that we have to wait for the eldest brother to wake up before we can avenge the 5th brother. Damn Kunlun sect. It won't be long before I will extract the souls of all the people in Kunlun sect and burn them day and night. After a period of careful consideration, in order to avoid accidents, the 3 elders chose to temporarily hold back their murderous intent and did not think of going to the southern wilderness. Instead, they waited for the other foundations of the 9 Nether dynasty to wake up, and then went to the southern wilderness to destroy the Kunlun sect. Chapter 43: The 10 Great Overlords of the Southern Wilderness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this time, in the void, the old immortals hidden in this space were also communicating in horror through their divine thoughts. Damn it! How could that person be so powerful? What should I do? Should I attack now or? A divine thought hesitated and asked. This person's strength may be able to fight against a strong man in the 7th level of the Heavenly King realm. Yes. Where did this Kunlun come from? Such a sect should not be unknown in the southern wilderness. Several divine thoughts communicated with each other. Could it really be a hidden sect? Humph. So what? We have 8 Heavenly King realm here, and he has just been through a big battle. I am afraid that only 1/10 of the mana in his body remains. I can destroy him alone. A divine thought said contemptuously. This divine thought underestimated the King Chen Beixian. Even if there is another Heavenly King realm hidden, he is definitely not our opponent. Moreover, there must not be 3 Heavenly King realm in Kunlun, and there is also the young man in white who is called the Sect Master. I can't sense any breath from him. He should have special means, but his cultivation level is definitely not Heavenly King realm. A divine thought quickly analyzed, and it was indeed so. If it was really as they thought, Kunlun was a hidden sect, and it was normal to have some special means, and he was a Heavenly King realm level 6 existence. Hearing this, the other divine thoughts were silent for a while, and after a moment, they seemed to reach a consensus. Do it, buzz. At this time, Lu Chen in the square seemed to sense something, and the corners of his mouth slightly raised and smiled lightly, with a hint of playfulness in his eyes. Are you finally willing to come out? Now that Lu Chen's goal has been achieved, he believes that after today, the entire southern wilderness will be shaken by the word Kunlun. Indeed, the death of a Heavenly King realm powerhouse in the hands of Kunlun is enough to shake the entire southern wilderness. Lin Yun, Ling Shui and others were confused when they heard this, and just when they were about to speak, buzz. The void suddenly trembled violently, and everyone present saw 8 old figures appearing in different positions in the void at the same time, all of them exuding rolling pressure that filled the world, and immediately caused a series of roars in the world. The 8 heavenly kings all appeared in the sky above Kunlun at this moment. Boom. Gurgle. That is. 8 heavenly kings. At this moment, Lin Yun and others below, including everyone in the sky 100 miles away, took a breath of cold air, swallowed hard, their faces were filled with horror, and their voices couldn't help but tremble. 8 heavenly kings appeared together, and such a scene has not appeared in the southern wilderness for tens of thousands of years. This is simply shocking to the world. It's over, now Kunlun is probably going to be removed from the southern wilderness. Yeah. TSK. This Kunlun is really looking for death. Wouldn't it be better to hand over the ancient token? He has to go against these top overlords. As soon as a cultivator finished speaking, he was refuted by others. You know shit. If you ask me, these top overlords are shameless. Kunlun got the ancient token first, and the leaders of those forces didn't dare to attack Kunlun, so they asked their ancestors to surround Kunlun. Shoo. You're looking for death. The people around him quickly covered each other's mouths, fearing that someone would hear and implicate them. This is going to be interesting. In front of the 8 heavenly kings, even the Jun family of the wilderness state can't resist. The Jun family of the wilderness state is the strongest overlord among the 10 top overlords. Its foundation is extremely strong. If a single top-level hegemonic force faces the Jun family, any top-level force is not the opponent of the Jun family, and its strength is simply not comparable to the other 9 forces. Of course, if the 9 top-level hegemonic forces attack it together, that is a later story, and the result can only be known after a real fight. At this moment, everyone here believes that the destruction of Kunlun has become a foregone conclusion and cannot be changed. After all, in their minds, no force can fight against the 8 great powers of the Heavenly King realm. At this time, Lin Yun and others were also trembling with fear. They had never seen such a scene. Qin Ruoxian's face did not change much, but she looked at the independent ancient attic on a mountain peak of Kunlun. These 8 heavenly king realms are the 10 top-level hegemonic forces in the southern wilderness. Among them, the ancestors of the 8 top-level hegemonic forces all looked at Chen Beixian at the same time, and immediately felt the majestic and powerful blood in the other party's body. They all trembled in their hearts and said in horror. Hiss. Such a strong blood. At this time, the 8 figures were all shocked on their old faces. They thought that the person in front of them had just killed the Joyo clan elder of the 5th level of the Heavenly King with the 1st level of the Heavenly King, which was shocking enough. Unexpectedly, it was a young Heavenly King with a strong blood, which Heavenly King didn't spend nearly 10,000 years to enter the Heavenly King realm. Moreover, the number of Heavenly Kings in the southern wilderness can be counted on one hand. They who were hiding in the void just now didn't dare to use their divine thoughts to carefully investigate Chen Beixian, thinking that the other party was also an old guy who had lived for tens of thousands of years like them. It was just that they used special means to cover up their own appearance, but now after personally feeling the surging blood in the other party's body, their pupils suddenly shrank, and a huge wave suddenly rose in their hearts. Now they can be sure that the origin of Kunlun is more complicated than they imagined. But there is no turning back. It is absolutely impossible for them to retreat. The ancient secret realm is about to be born, and the ancient token is too important for them. Once they can enter the ancient secret realm and gain a chance to defy the heavens, there may be a heavenly king or above in their respective forces. In the face of this temptation, no one can resist it. At this time, the 8 heavenly kings in the void are all holding ulterior motives and making different calculations. At this time, the 8 heavenly kings in the void did not make any movements, but looked at Chen Beixian with fear. As expected, they are all old guys who have lived for tens of thousands of years, and they are all smart people. After looking at each other, the eyes seem to say, "Can't you come up? You didn't say that one person can destroy the other party." The previous heavenly king realm, I'll take a look. Good guy. You don't want to lose face. At this moment, they can't be sure of the strength of the other heavenly king realm in Kunlun. It's obvious that no one wants to be the first bird, and they are waiting for others to take action first. Seeing this scene, 100 miles away, everyone in the sky can't help but be stunned. Fuck. What's going on? Are you playing silence here? Are you still going to fight? What are you doing? Hurry up and fight. 8 heavenly king realms. At this time, Chen Beixian faced the strong pressure of the 8 heavenly king realms, and there was no change on his face. He just glanced at the other party lightly. Seeing this. This Taoist friend, may I ask who is this person from Kunlun sect? An old man in gray spoke first, looking at Chen Beixian with fear and said, breaking the long silence. Chapter 44, The King of Heaven is powerful and terrifying, he is a saint. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This old man in the heavenly king realm is the ancestor of the Long family among the top 10 overlords. They have no life and death hatred with Kunlun, and they have seen how powerful Chen Beixian is, so of course they will not rashly offend Kunlun at this moment. The ancient token is important, but no one wants to offend a force that also has a heavenly king realm in charge. Even though the 8 old guys are now on the same front, once they really fight each other, they will never help each other. After all, one less person means a 10% increase in the chance of getting the ancient token. Hearing this, Chen Beixian's momentum did not weaken at all, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and he said lightly, "I am the elder of Kunlun's guard, Chen Beixian." As soon as these words came out, instantly, the faces of the 8 heavenly king realm on the other side trembled violently, and they were extremely horrified in their hearts. Hiss. How is it possible? Heaven, the heavenly king realm is just a guard elder. Although they were mentally prepared and guessed that Kunlun was extremely complicated, they could accept it even if the other party said that I was an elder of Kunlun, but at this moment, Chen Beixian's words put them in a dilemma. As for Chen Beixian's words, they did not doubt the authenticity of what he said. After all, a heavenly king realm would not bother to say such big words. Then, Chen Beixian said with a cold look in his eyes, "You have been hiding above my Kunlun for so long, don't you plan to give me an explanation for Kunlun?" "Dao Yu, we have no ill will towards Kunlun, we just come for the ancient token," the ancestor of the Long family said bluntly. Seeing this, several other heavenly king realms also spoke up. It seems that these 8 heavenly king realms want to use other methods to make Kunlun take out the ancient token to make a deal with them. Yes, we are the ancestors of the top 10 dominant forces in the southern wilderness. We heard that Kunlun is a hidden sect that has just been born, so we came here to pay a visit. Look. This is how old people become smart. Don't even care about their old face. Pay a visit? I don't think so. Hearing this, Chen Beixian sneered and continued, "The ancient token is indeed in my Kunlun's hands." What? Are you going to attack my Kunlun too? Speaking of this, Chen Beixian looked at Lu Chen with awe. Seeing that there was no change on Lu Chen's face, the terrifying aura on his body was released and rolled towards the 8 people on the other side. Bang. This person doesn't look like someone who has just experienced a big battle. At this time, Chen Beixian's aura is still terrifying. Not good. Damn it. Several people felt the powerful aura of the other party, and they couldn't help cursing in their hearts. Angry eyes looked at the ancestor of Yaochi Palace at the same time. Didn't you say that the opponent's magic power is only 1/10? Why is the aura still so terrifying now? The old ancestor of Yaochi Palace was also confused at this time, and looked at Chen Beixian with great fear. Blame me. Seeing this. Dao Yu, don't get me wrong, we are certainly not going to attack Kunlun, we want to make a deal with your clan, that the ancestor of the Long family hurriedly said, fearing that Chen Beixian would start a war if he disagreed with him. He had already felt a strong sense of crisis in the other party's aura, and did not dare to fight with him at all. That's right, Dao Yu, we can discuss it. This deal is definitely a good thing for your clan, that the other ancestors of the Heavenly King realm spoke one after another, and even the Yaochi Palace ancestor who was in the 6th level of the Heavenly King realm hurriedly spoke. It was impossible for him to take action against Chen Beixian alone, there was no way. The opponent's strength even made him feel a sense of crisis. Oh. Trade. Chen Beixian's face was stunned, it was really disappointing. Just when he wanted to start a wave of killing, showing his momentum to force the king, however, since the other party said so, he couldn't do it directly. After all, there is no feud between the two sides now, but Kunlun is not a place where you can come and go as you please. Let's ask the sect master how to deal with them. Chen Beixian thought, then he looked at Lu Chen in the square. At this time, do a deal with my Kunlun. Not everyone is qualified, and he also wants to hear what the other party wants to say. Of course, Lu Chen also heard what the other party said, and then said in a light voice. Is this how you want to do a deal with my Kunlun? Although the light voice was not loud, it fell into everyone's ears. As soon as the words fell, the eyes of the 8 heavenly kings looked at Lu Chen at the same time. Is it the junior sect master of Kunlun? A junior dares to talk to us like this, looking for death. Hearing this, the faces of the 8 heavenly kings were extremely ugly. They are all beings that overlook an area, since when did even a junior dare to be so disrespectful to them? Although they were afraid of the existence of Chen Beixian and the other terrifying aura of Kunlun, it did not mean that the young man in white who was called the master of Kunlun could be disrespectful to them. In the southern wilderness, most of the leaders of the forces were held by some juniors, but the real right to speak was still in the hands of those forces. For example, if the ancestors of the Heavenly King realm encountered a real big event, they still had to come out to decide the direction of the matter. His face turned cold immediately, and he was about to shout at the young man in white, so that the other party would know that the great power of the Heavenly King realm could not be insulted. Just when they were about to speak in anger, a voice like the supreme power from the 9 heavens resounded throughout the world. You are standing too high, I don't like it very much. Get down here. Boom. The voice of the 9 heavens fell gently, and a majestic voice like the words of the supreme god resounded throughout the world. Just for a moment, Lin Yun and others quickly looked at Lu Chen with extremely shocked expressions. The sect leader takes action. Even the countless monks hundreds of miles away in the sky were trembled by this divine and majestic voice. Then, amidst everyone's horrified expressions, an extremely terrifying aura suddenly appeared in the sky above Kunlun. Hiss. What a terrifying smell. What power is that? Who is taking action? Everyone looked horrified and kept shouting in their hearts. Immediately afterwards, it was as if the whole world couldn't bear the supreme sound of the owner of that voice. I saw, an irresistible and supreme power suddenly fell on the 8 heavenly kings in the void. Boom. A moment, the face of the 8 heavenly kings suddenly changed with shock, and his eyes were full of endless fear. He wanted to use the magic power in his body to resist, but suddenly found that all the magic power in his body was imprisoned by an inexplicable supreme force at this moment. Shout out in fear, no. 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 This, what kind of power is this? Ah. Why can't I mobilize my mana? Then, the frightened pupils of the 8 heavenly kings suddenly shrank, and a big hand fell from the sky to grab them. In an instant, the 8 heavenly kings were enveloped in it before they could react. In the blink of an eye, when the 8 people appeared again, a young man in white clothes was looking at them with a smile on his face. It's you. Kunlun sect master. Looking at the young man in white clothes in front of him, the 8 heavenly king realm looked horrified at this moment. He immediately understood that it was the young sect leader in front of him who had taken action. In an instant, his eyes were filled with endless fear, and his whole body trembled with fear. Tell me what kind of deal you want to do when you come to Kunlun. Lu Chen, who was dressed in white, put his hands behind his back, glanced at the 8 people and asked calmly. At this time, there was no aura fluctuation on his body, just like an ordinary person, but in the eyes of the 8 people, Lu Chen was a terrifying and powerful man. This Kuan, what kind of sect is the Kunlun sect? What kind of cultivation is he? Could it be, above the Heavenly King realm? At this moment, the 8 people's faces were filled with horror. After looking at each other, they all had a terrible thought in their hearts. Holy saint! No! How is it possible? How could there be such a young saint in the world? No! Impossible! The 8 heavenly kings were completely frightened at this moment. His scalp was numb and cold sweat broke out. Endless fear enveloped his whole body, and his whole body was trembling non-stop. Chapter 45. You are not qualified. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yes, it's the sect master who made a move. 8 heavenly king realm masters were taken down just like that. Too terrifying. What is the sect master's cultivation level? Could it be, above the heavenly king realm? Lin Yun, Ling Shui, Luo Wuxuang and Qin Zhan's eyes widened immediately, their expressions extremely shocked, looking at the trembling 8 heavenly king realm masters in front of them in disbelief, and at this moment, they were shocked and guessed Lu Chen's cultivation level, because, they had never seen Lu Chen make a move, and they had guessed that Lu Chen's cultivation level might be above the spiritualization realm. After all, Lu Chen looked too young. If they said that Lu Chen was an old immortal who had lived for tens of thousands of years, they would not believe it, because Lu Chen did not have a trace of decay of time on him. It was impossible for him to be an old immortal who had lived for tens of thousands of years and turned into a young man. At this moment, the awe of Lu Chen in their hearts could not be added, and they were extremely excited and very glad that they could become people of Kunlun. At this time, Qin Ruoxian looked at Lu Chen with a look of surprise. This was also the first time she saw Lu Chen take action, and even she couldn't remain calm. At this moment, she looked at Lu Chen with awe. From this moment on, she was even more in awe of Lu Chen and the mystery of Kunlun. Kunlun reveals all kinds of mystery and power at all times. At this time, 100 miles away, countless southern wilderness cultivators in the sky seemed to be fixed in place by an inexplicable force, staring at the direction of Kunlun in amazement. A moment later. Just, what kind of force, power was that just now? Why do I feel that I dare not even think of resisting in front of that breath? We are also, that godlike voice and that breath are too terrifying. Everyone couldn't help but take a breath of cold air when they recalled the godlike breath just now. They couldn't imagine what kind of terrifying existence the owner of that breath was. The heavenly king realm is just like this. You guys, what kind of terrifying strong man is attacking? At this time, someone seemed to have guessed something and exclaimed. Kunlun. Hearing this, everyone's face was horrified, and their eyes trembled in the direction of Kunlun, and their hearts couldn't help but tremble fiercely. Previous, senior we have no intention of offending your clan. In the cultivation of one path, the one who has achieved it is respected. Although Lu Chen looks extremely young, they don't dare to imagine whether Lu Chen is one of those old immortals who have lived for tens of thousands of years and then walks in the world with a young appearance. The 8 heavenly king realm were already scared at this moment, and said with a trembling voice, Saint. A saint is right in front of us. There are already tens of thousands of people in the southern wilderness who have no saints in the world. Otherwise, how could they, who only have the heavenly king realm, overlook an entire area? Oh. No offense, Lu Chen said calmly. He didn't mean to kill them, but wanted to hear what they were talking about. Yes, please let us go, senior. At this moment, how dare the 8 people talk about the deal with Kunlun? What a joke. Who dares to be presumptuous in front of a saint? Who dares to talk about a deal with a saint? Didn't you just say you wanted to make a deal with Kunlun? Lu Chen glanced at them and continued, tell me, if you can make me excited, I may spare your life. Hearing this, the 8 heavenly kings were frightened and pale, looking at each other, and didn't dare to say anything about the deal just now. Speak, Lu Chen said coldly, obviously impatient. Yes, yes. Senior. We will tell you now. The 8 people trembled all over, and then said in a trembling voice. Senior, we want to wait until the ancient secret realm comes out, and then let the younger generation of the family and the disciples of your sect enter the secret realm together. Hearing this, Lu Chen looked at the ancestor of the Long family indifferently without saying a word, as if he understood something. Shu. Facing Lu Chen's indifferent gaze, the ancestor of the Long family suddenly turned pale. His old face, which was originally pale with fear, turned even paler at this moment. He immediately broke out in cold sweat and his back felt cold. The other 7 people were also frightened pale by Lu Chen's invisible pressure. The ancestor of the Long family immediately realized that what he said just now was inappropriate, and hurriedly said, Senior. We mean to take out the corresponding cultivation resources to exchange with your sect. Old man, you don't care about your face anymore. Cultivation resources? Are you sincere? The number of people who can enter the ancient secret realm is limited. One ancient token can only allow 100 people to enter. Moreover, not everyone can enter the ancient secret realm. There is an age limit, only the young generation who are no older than 100 years old can enter. 100 years, for a cultivator, is probably not even a fraction. The young generation behind the 8 heavenly kings are countless, and they actually want to use a little cultivation resources to exchange for a place to enter the secret realm. What a fantasy. So the 8 heavenly kings probably have no intention of really using cultivation resources to negotiate with Kunlun. Good guy. If Lu Chen hadn't shown his strength, it is estimated that the 8 heavenly kings would have used their power to suppress others and force a place in Kunlun. Crap cultivation resources. Will Kunlun be short of them? Don't forget that Lu Chen has the system. Of course, the system can't give Lu Chen some resources for free. The current problem is to make Kunlun stronger, After the ancestor of the Long family said the purpose with difficulty, the 8 people exhaled heavily. Too scary. Lu Chen just stood there, even if there was no breath on his body, but he made them feel endless oppression. So, after seeing the mystery of Kunlun and the strength of Chen Beixian, the 8 people secretly communicated with Kunlun about trading the ancient token. When the ancient secret realm is born, let the younger generation of their own forces enter the ancient secret realm with the people of Kunlun. After all, if they can enter the ancient secret realm in advance without offending a powerful sect whose background is unknown, they will certainly choose the latter. It has to be said that their idea is good. If other forces are facing the 8 heavenly kings, they may be forced to agree under pressure. Unfortunately, they were facing Kunlun. Kunlun was a mysterious and terrifying existence that they could never see through. Cultivation resources. Do you think I don't know what you are planning? Lu Chen snorted coldly. Did he really think he was easy to deceive? If they hadn't seen his terrifying strength, these old guys would never mention any cultivation resources. The words fell, the 8 heavenly kings were immediately frightened and trembled all over. They didn't dare to speak out to anger Lu Chen at this time. Chapter 46. The 5th ancestor of the Jun family, the previous master of Yaochi Palace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Immediately afterwards, Lu Chen's next words completely frightened them so much that they almost fell to the ground again. Don't say that you are just a top overlord force. Even the Holy Land is not qualified to negotiate terms with me, Kunlun. Boom. As soon as these words came out, these 8 heavenly king-level beings who once overlooked the southern wilderness territory were completely frightened. Their brains were suddenly struck by lightning, their faces were horrified, and a strong sense of fear instantly hit their hearts directly from the soles of their feet. What did they hear? Not qualified. Even the Holy Land is not qualified. The fearful heart of the 8 heavenly kings was once again shocked. The young sect leader in front of me doesn't even pay attention to the Holy Land. Kunlun. Kunlun. What kind of sect is this? At this moment, the faces of the 8 people were filled with endless shock and fear. They should never come here. For a moment, when Lu Chen no longer wanted to waste time with them, he was just about to prepare to deal with the 8 people, but just then, in the void, a space portal suddenly appeared, and everyone felt that there was an extremely terrifying aura permeating the dark portal. I saw 4 figures walked out of the door, an old man in commoner clothes and a beautiful woman in palace clothes. Behind them were a middle-aged man and a young woman with stunning beauty. The 5th ancestor of the Jun family. The previous palace master of Yaochi Palace, that the 8 heavenly kings below couldn't help but exclaimed after seeing the old man in civilian clothes and the beautiful woman in palace clothes. Then I started to gloat in my heart, hurry up and do it. It's not easy for us, and neither are you too. After Chen Beixian glanced at the 2 old men and beautiful women above who were releasing powerful auras, excitement appeared in his eyes. 2 heavenly kings at the 8th level. I'm ready to do this. Even if the sect leader comes, he won't be able to stop me. Hundreds of miles away, the countless monks in the sky did not retreat, but were still looking in the direction of Kunlun. Hiss. Look. Damn it. Someone is going to die again. No, another strong person has appeared, a monk shouted with excitement. He even got a chair from somewhere and was lying on it, looking up to Kunlun with relish. Brother, that's awesome. At this time someone spoke up. Who are those 4 people, who are so hard to think about? 4 people in the sky above Kunlun. Hiss. Then, that seems to be the head of the Jun family, and, there is also Lin Shi, the master of the Yaochi Palace. What? She's actually my goddess. Ah, many monks looked at the beautiful figure in the distance and couldn't help but take action on the spot. Fuck. Brother, calm down, the Yaochi Palace is the most terrifying force second only to the Jun family among the top overlords. As the palace owner, Lin Shi is not only stunningly beautiful, but also has a cave-like cultivation. She is a goddess figure in the eyes of all the single monks in the southern wilderness region. It's not sad that it can make so many people so excited. At this time, Lu Chen glanced at a few people, then put his gaze away, and his face gradually turned cold. No one dares to come to Kunlun to act so arrogantly. Jun family, Jun Zhantian. Yaochi Palace, Lin Yu. I came here to pay a visit to Kunlun. That the 5th ancestor of the Jun family is Jun Zhantian, and Lin Yu is the previous generation Yaochi Palace master. The 2 of them stood in the void, looking at the crowd and said in a slow voice. Then, the pupils of the 2 people suddenly shrank and their expressions suddenly changed. How is that possible? What did they see? The 8 heavenly kings below were looking at the young man in white in front of them with fear on their faces. The head of the Jun family and Lin Shi behind him also looked horrified. Of course the 5th ancestor of the Jun family and Lin Yu knew that it was the ancestor of the other 8 major forces, but what shocked them was that there was something in Kunlun that could make the 8 heavenly kings so scared. The 2 of them had already explored everyone here, and except for the young man in white who they couldn't see through, the others were of no concern to them. And what can make the ancestors of the forces in the 8 heavenly kings' realms so frightened? Even a strong man at the 9th level of the heavenly kings cannot make the 8 heavenly kings' realm like this. Hiss. Could it be? A terrible thought suddenly appeared in their minds, and then quickly disappeared from their minds, because they did not believe that Kunlun could have existences above the heavenly king realm, but to be able to make the 8 heavenly kings look like this. I'm afraid this Kunlun is extremely difficult. Thinking of this, after the 2 of them looked at each other, Lin Yu immediately said, "We have no ill intentions towards Kunlun when we come here. Who is the sect master of Kunlun? Can we meet him?" After the 5th ancestor of the Jun family was born, he went to Yaochi Palace to discuss certain matters, so they arrived so slowly. The 2 major forces don't seem to be overly interested in the ancient token, so I was not in a hurry to come to Kunlun. No, I saw this scene as soon as I arrived. Hear the words, court death. Lu Chen's eyes narrowed slightly. He was already impatient. Do you really think anyone can come to Kunlun? He immediately said to Chen Beixian. Beixian, I leave it to you. Yes, Sect Master. Just when Chen Beixian looked excited and was about to take action. Elder Chen, not long after you took action, let me take action this time. A sweet voice came from an independent mountain loft, Elder Qing. Hearing this voice, Chen Beixian's originally excited face became even more excited, and he looked a little, the voice fell, Lu Chen also smiled slightly. He just wanted to see Qing's strength. After all, when Qing was summoned, her strength was already at the Heavenly King realm. Now that he has broken through the Saint realm, he doesn't know if Qing's cultivation has also reached the Saint realm. Elder Qing is the you-girl Qing. Beixian, let Qing take action. Lu Chen said. Yes, Sect Master, Chen Beixian replied excitedly. I really don't know why he is so excited. Chen Beixian, Wang Ming and Qing had already met each other under Lu Chen's arrangement, so they knew each other. However, Lin Yun and others didn't know the existence of Qing. At this time, he was also shocked and said in his heart, hiss. Elder Qing. Is this another powerful existence of my Kunlun awakened? The faces of several people were extremely excited and shocked. Is this the foundation of my Kunlun? Even Qin Ruoxian's beautiful eyes flashed with surprise. As soon as these words came out, the Jun family's ancestors and Lin Yu on the upper side suddenly looked ugly, and their eyes turned cold. Although they didn't want to offend Kunlun, it didn't mean that they would be afraid of Kunlun. Humph. Kunlun, you really don't know what's good for you. How dare you ignore them like this? Boom. The two of them released a powerful cultivation of the 8th level of the Heavenly King realm, and they were not afraid of Kunlun at all because of seeing the fate of the 8th Heavenly King realm. The Jun family has been passed down for hundreds of thousands of years, and no one knows its true background. It is rumored that there is a holy land behind the Yaochi Palace, so these two top overlord forces are definitely not comparable to the other 8 forces. Moreover, the two forces have a long heritage. For some unknown things in the world, they know more about them than other forces, because the two knew that 2 ancient families from the ancient times have been born in the north and west regions, and there was also news in the central region that in this life, countless ancient inheritance forces that had been silent for hundreds of thousands of years and hundreds of years would gradually revive. This is a golden age, and perhaps the emperor will reappear in the world in the future. Because of this, the two people's fear of Kunlun also comes from this. Even if they know that the ancient token is in Kunlun's hands, they did not act rashly at the first time. Big guys are ready to speed up the pace. Big guys, please be gentle. Please forgive me for not keeping a good grasp of the rhythm. Chapter 47, The Jun Family Saint Takes Action. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the void, seeing that Lu Chen and his men didn't take them seriously at all, Jun Wuhui, the head of the Jun family behind the 5 ancestors of the Jun family, said angrily. How dare you, Kunlun, be so disrespectful to the ancestors? Yaochi Palace Master Lin. She frowned with her beautiful eyes and looked cold. However, she didn't say anything, but looked at everyone with cold eyes. As soon as the voice fell, boom. An extremely terrifying breath was released from a mountain pavilion. Then, buzzed out, a young woman with a graceful figure appeared in the void in an instant. She was wearing a green long skirt, with a slim figure, cold eyebrows, beautiful face, and a delicate temperament, giving people the impression of a girl next door. Swish. When the 5 ancestors of the Jun family, Lin Yu and others saw the beautiful woman in the green skirt who suddenly appeared in front of them, their faces trembled and their pupils shrank suddenly. The woman in the green skirt didn't even look at them. It seemed that the people in front of her were not qualified to enter her eyes. She said respectfully to Lu Chen. Qing, meet the sect master. Yes, it was the you-girl Qing. This was also the first time Qing appeared in front of Lin Yun and the others. Saint realm. Lu Chen smiled at Qing and nodded. Sure enough, Qing's cultivation had already reached the Saint realm. This system. It was simply draining him dry. After all, I took it all on my own. Lu Chen had already cursed the system in his heart. Hiss. Is this Elder Qing from Kunlun? This aura is so terrifying. It's even more terrifying than Elder Chen's aura from the Heavenly King realm. Elder Qing's cultivation, is above the heavenly king realm. Lin Yun, Ling Shui and the others were so shocked that they couldn't speak, but they were extremely excited. Qing turned her gaze and looked at the 4 people of the 5 ancestors of the Jun family, her eyes cold and cold. You dare to disrespect the sect master and my Kunlun, stay here today, boom. Facing the eyes of the woman in the green dress, the 5 ancestors of the Jun family and Lin Yu were instantly shocked, and a trace of fear appeared in their eyes. Saint. But before they could react from their fear, Qing raised her green jade finger and lightly pointed in the direction of the 4 people, and instantly turned into a shining green beam of light and flew towards the 4 people. Boom. A finger pointed out and turned into a divine light, and the earth and the sky trembled immediately, as if the power of a finger could penetrate the space of heaven and earth. Boom, crack. Not good. Damn it, you dare to attack us. Sure enough, the foundation of the Jun family and Yaochi Palace is not what the world sees. Even facing Qing, who is in the saint realm, he dares to speak nonsense at this moment. This old guy is really a bull on a plane, awesome to the sky. Feeling the terrifying aura coming, the 4 people's faces turned pale instantly, and they heard the 5 ancestors of the Jun family shouting. In an instant an ancient jade talisman appeared in the hands of the 5th ancestor of the Jun family, and he quickly crushed it. Boom. Then. How dare you? An extremely old and majestic voice came from the sky, resounding throughout the world. I only heard the voice, but I didn't see the person. Then, a terrifying force appeared and instantly broke Qing's green beam. Qing frowned, looked up at the sky, and his face changed slightly. Saint. This majestic voice made everyone tremble, and they all looked up at the sky. In the square, Lu Chen felt the breath of the sky, and his face changed slightly. A saint. This Jun family actually has a saint. This is the first time Lu Chen has come into contact with a saint-level force. It seems that the Jun family is not as simple as he thought. However, what about a saint? Kunlun is not afraid of a saint-level force now. Unless he is above the saint level, he will feel pressure. Lu Chen said in his heart. Hear the majestic voice. The pale face of the 5th ancestor of the Jun family eased, and the previous fear in his eyes disappeared. Instead, he looked at the sky with awe. When the voice sounded, Jun Wuhui almost knelt down, and his heart was extremely shocked at this time. It turned out to be my Jun family. Lin Yu of Yaochi Palace looked at the sky and seemed to have known something, and his face was suddenly shocked. Humph. Qing snorted coldly, then raised his hand and hit the sky with a terrifying palm. Boom. The power of the law emerged, the earth trembled, and the roar rumbled. Looking for death. Junior. The old voice sounded again from the sky with anger. Boom. I saw. An old big hand stretched out from the sky, grabbing Qing with terrifying power. Bang. A deafening sound resounded through the world, and the power of the 2 exploded instantly, and countless power of the law instantly filled the surrounding space. Humph. Youngster, you have some strength. I will remember you. A cold snort sounded from the sky. It was obvious that the owner of the voice did not want to continue fighting with Qing. As soon as the words fell. Buzz. A space portal appeared in the sky, and countless turbulent voids emerged. Then, a big hand reached out and quickly grabbed the 4 ancestors of the Jun family. In a flash, the 4 were grabbed by the big hand into the space portal and disappeared in the void. Want to leave? Seeing this, Qing's handsome face turned cold, and he was about to break through the endless space to pursue the breath. At this moment, Lu Chen's faint voice sounded. Qing, don't pay attention to them. Seeing this, Lu Chen could guess that the Jun family and Yaochi Palace were definitely not as simple as he thought. If he went to war with the Jun family and Yaochi Palace now, it would most likely lead to some real immortals. However, Lu Chen was not worried that the Jun family and Yaochi Palace would attack Kunlun immediately. After all, he already knew that there were saints in Kunlun. Hearing this. Yes, Sect Master. Qing said respectfully, and then came to Lu Chen. At this time, seeing Qing, Lin Yun and others hurried forward and said respectfully. Meet the elder. Qing smiled at them and nodded. Seeing this, Lu Chen also smiled and introduced. I forgot to tell you, this is Elder Qing of Kunlun, who just woke up not long ago. Hiss. These words fell into the ears of Lin and others like a bolt from the blue. Is he so powerful just after waking up? What kind of cultivation is Elder Qing? Lin Yun and the others were guessing, but they didn't dare to ask. Although Lin Yun and the others didn't know, Qin Ruoxian was different. Even though her cultivation was very low now, she could still see Qing's cultivation with her eyesight. Saint. This made her heart tremble. She didn't expect that there was a saint in Kunlun. Master, are these 8 people destroyed or? At this time, Chen Beixian looked at the trembling 8 heavenly kings and said, today is the last day of the year. The author wishes all the big guys to make money, have children, and be rich. The auspicious year will be a good harvest today, the plot rhythm will be accelerated later. Thank you for the gifts and support from all the big guys. Chapter 48. The word Kunlun shook the southern wilds. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The words just fell. No. Don't. Senior, please let us go. We have no ill intentions towards Kunlun. The 8th heavenly king, who was already frightened to death, turned pale when he heard Chen Beixian desperately begging Lu Chen for mercy. They never expected that Kunlun could be so terrifying. Not only is the young sect leader in front of him very powerful, he also has a saint. He even dared to offend the Jun family in Yaochi Palace, which even shocked the Jun family's background. Of course they couldn't see Lu Chen's cultivation. They just guessed that the other party was a saint based on Lu Chen's strength, but when they saw the woman in green dress appear, she turned out to be a saint, and she was so respectful and awe-inspiring to Lu Chen. Now the 8 of them were even more frightened by Kunlun's terror. At this moment, I felt extremely remorseful and wished I could beat the ancestor of Lingyun Palace to death. If he hadn't been encouraging others to show up together, he wouldn't have ended up like this. It's a pity, but what they don't know is that in Lu Chen's eyes, the 8 of them have already become the foundation for Kunlun's fame. There is no need to kill them. Teach them a lesson and let them leave something behind. Kunlun is not a place where anyone can come just as they please. Lu Chen looked at the pale-faced 8 heavenly kings, thought for a moment, and said calmly, after seeing the saints of the Jun family take action, he also gained a better understanding of the background of these top overlords. It was far more powerful than he imagined. He thought Kunlun was already very powerful now, but he still underestimated the background of these top forces. Lu Chen sighed in his heart and thought to himself. It seems that Kunlun needs to be strengthened as soon as possible. There are still too few disciples in the sect now. Indeed, there are only 3 disciples in Kunlun and no missions appear in the system. Lu Chen cannot obtain summoning cards and other rewards to increase his strength. However, Lu Chen already had a plan in mind and was ready to let the news out that Kunlun was recruiting disciples. Lu Chen also believed that after this incident, Kunlun's reputation in the southern wasteland would be greatly affected, and it would also have a better effect on Kunlun's recruitment of disciples. Hear this. The 8 heavenly kings thought that their ears were hallucinating, and then their faces were filled with excitement and they trembled with gratitude. Thank you, senior, thank you, senior, for letting us go. The 8 heavenly kings looked as if they had been reborn, and took a deep breath to calm down the excitement and trembling in their hearts. They thought they were going to die here today, which almost scared them to death. If people from the southern wilderness territory saw this scene, they would definitely be horrified. Is this a powerful person in the heavenly king realm? So humble. This matter is over, Beixian, they will be left to you to handle. Lin Yun, you guys, please come to the main hall. I have something to explain to you. After Lu Chen said this calmly, he immediately disappeared. Yes, Sect Master. Yes, Sect Master. Chen Beixian, Lin Yun and others replied respectfully. At this time, in the void 100 miles away, many monks in the southern wasteland were so shocked that they all froze on the spot, their faces full of shock, and they could not recover for a long time. Just now, was that, the saint, was, taking action. It's, too terrible. How is that possible? The saint has not appeared in the world for tens of thousands of years. Many monks felt that it was impossible for a saint to appear in this world. After all, this was the first time they had seen someone in the Heavenly King realm taking action, let alone a saint. For them, they would never believe it even to death. Hiss. This Kunlun is definitely a hidden sect. Unexpectedly, even the Jun family and Yaochi Palace dared to take action against him. At this moment, everyone thought that Kunlun was a hidden sect with terrible background, and they were shocked by it. Hurry, leave this place quickly. This is Kunlun's place. If someone from Kunlun finds out, they will probably keep us all here. Hear the words. After everyone reacted, their expressions suddenly changed, and they quickly left the Immortal Burial Mountain range, fearing that Kunlun would take action against them in the next second. If Lu Chen saw this scene, he would definitely laugh out loud. This is the effect Lu Chen wants, otherwise, Lu Chen would not have wasted so much time with those 8 heavenly kings. What they want is to use the words from these monks' mouths to spread what they see in Kunlun's reputation and power throughout the southern wilderness. In this way, the news about Kunlun's next recruitment of disciples will definitely be of great use. This is also true. It didn't take long for the word Kunlun to become famous throughout the southern wilderness territory. 2 days later, the ancestors of the 8 top powers in the Heavenly King realm left Qingzhou and returned to their respective powers. People from all the major forces looked overjoyed when they saw their ancestors coming back. Thinking that their ancestors had brought back the ancient token, everyone shouted in their hearts, "The ancestor is invincible!" But when they saw their ancestors coming back, they found that there was fear in their ancestors' eyes, as if they had encountered some great terror. Everyone couldn't believe what they saw. Their ancestor was a powerful person in the Heavenly King realm. How is that possible? There is nothing else in this world that can scare the ancestors. In the eyes of the major forces, their ancestors in the Heavenly King realm overlooked the existence of a region. When the leaders of the major forces asked their own ancestors, the ancestors of the major forces only said one sentence to the leaders of their respective forces: Kunlun has a great terror. Then the ancestors of each force entered into seclusion and did not mention anything about going to Kunlun in Qingzhou. Then, countless cultivators in the major states of the southern wilderness were completely boiling. Several shocking news came from the 8 top hegemonic forces, the original words of the news: people in their families/sects must not offend the Kunlun sect in Qingzhou. Anyone who encounters Kunlun disciples must not provoke or offend them. If they are expelled from the family and sect, all the consequences will be borne by themselves. Wow! As soon as several pieces of news came out, they caused an uproar in an instant, and countless forces and cultivators were shocked and horrified. Many people did not understand what shocking event had happened that could make the other 8 top forces except the Jun family and Yaochi Palace release such news. This day, the word Kunlun shook countless large and small forces and countless cultivators in the entire southern wilderness. Countless people were full of speculation and shock about Kunlun at this moment. After all, the forces and cultivators who did not go to Qingzhou that day had no idea what happened. However, they knew one thing, that is, even the top hegemonic forces did not dare to offend Kunlun, which was enough to prove the strength of Kunlun. Not long after, countless large and small forces in the southern wilderness came out with news that was the same as the original words of the 8 top forces: let everyone in their respective families/sects not offend Kunlun in Qingzhou. Chapter 49. 3 days later, Kunlun recruits disciples. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Immortal Burial Mountain Range, Kunlun, Sect's main hall. Lin Yun, Luo Lingxue, Qin Ruoxian, Luo Wushuang, Qin Zhan and others were all in the hall. Everyone looked at Lu Chen on the main seat with awe. Even Qin Ruoxian's eyes showed a deeper awe of Lu Chen. Facing Lu Chen, he no longer had the coldness and nobility of the emperor. At this moment, he was just like an ordinary Kunlun disciple, really ordinary. Lu Chen slowly opened his eyes, then looked at everyone and said lightly, "It's been a while since I was born in Kunlun. It's time to recruit more disciples. Luo Wushuang, Qin Zhan, you two spread the news that I'm going to recruit disciples in Kunlun." Hearing this, the 2 people below were extremely excited, and immediately said respectfully that Kunlun was going to recruit disciples, which was a great event for the 2 of them. Their respective descendants may also have the opportunity to become Kunlun's disciples. even if they are outer disciples, it is a great opportunity for their descendants. Although their daughters have already become Kunlun's disciples, they all want their other descendants to become Kunlun's disciples. Yes, Sect Master. The two said respectfully, and then seemed to think of something. Luo Wuxuang said, Sect Master, when will the recruitment of disciples begin? Lu Chen said, it will officially start in 3 days. I will recruit disciples in Kunlun regardless of talent or cultivation. As long as their character and heart can pass the assessment, they can become my Kunlun disciples. Lu Chen certainly wants to recruit more talented disciples, but he pays more attention to a person's character and heart. Only such people will be wholeheartedly responsible for the sect, of course, like Lin Yun, Luo Lingxue, Qin Ruoxian. Lu Chen is assured of the character and heart of the 3 people. Don't forget that Lu Chen is a man with a system. Hearing this, Luo Wuxuang and Qin Zhan were very excited. They didn't expect that the sect master would not look at talent and cultivation, but only character and heart. In this way, their descendants have a greater chance of becoming Kunlun disciples. The current Zhezhou royal city has been destroyed, and the new royal city is being rebuilt, but their descendants and wives were not in the Zhezhou dynasty that day. Instead, they were in the original royal city of the great Qin dynasty. Yes, Sect Master, we will go to the various states to spread the news. Luo Wuxuang and Qin Zhan said respectfully, and then immediately left Kunlun and went to the various states. After the two left, at this time. Sect Master, I want to go out for some experience to improve my cultivation and strength as soon as possible. Lin Yun, who had made up his mind to go out for experience, said respectfully to Lu Chen, with a resolute face, as if he would fight with Lu Chen if Lu Chen did not let him go out for experience. Now Kunlun is going to recruit disciples, which also means that there will be more and more disciples in Kunlun in the future. If his cultivation as Kunlun's senior brother is still so low, it will inevitably cause doubts about Kunlun for other disciples. Lin Yun does not want to disappoint Lu Chen, because everything he has is given by Lu Chen, and he wants to make his cultivation and strength stronger. If someone dares to disrespect Lu Chen next time, he will have the strength to destroy the other party, and he doesn't need the elders in the sect to do everything. What Lin Yun thought in his heart was the motivation for him to become stronger. Oh. Experience. Hearing this, Lu Chen's eyes flashed with surprise. He didn't expect that Lin Yun was so conscious. In fact, Lu Chen had already wanted Lin Yun to go out for experience. After all, the flowers in the greenhouse cannot be displayed to the world. Lin Yun has the fighting saint body, so he should continue to fight with others. The more he fights, the higher his perception of the fighting saint body will be. It is true that in the future, Lin Yun will destroy the saint with one hand, turn his hand to suppress the God King, and the emperor will also perish with a holy fist. Yes, Lin Yun, I didn't make a mistake about you, go. Lu Chen looked at Lin Yun and smiled lightly. As for where Lin Yun went to experience, he didn't need to worry about it. The so-called experience is to be alone, not afraid of hardships, not afraid of death, dare to fight for luck with heaven and earth, and constantly improve one's state of mind and strength. Then Lu Chen said, Lin Yun, this time I will not let anyone in the sect follow and protect you. You have to deal with all the dangers you encounter by yourself. Hearing this, Luo Lingshue's face changed, but she quickly reacted. She knew that Lu Chen was right. The real strong started from humble beginnings. Qin Ruoxian also looked at Lin Yun thoughtfully. However, Lin Yun's face did not change at all, but a desire for strength appeared in his eyes. Thank you, Sect Master. Lin Yun said respectfully. Then Lu Chen, Lin Yun, when you leave, go to the Elder Peak. Elder Qin will give you something. Hearing this. Yes, Sect Master. Lin Yun did not ask what it was, and said respectfully to Lu Chen, time flies in a flash. 2 days later, another shocking news from the southern wilderness spread to all the states, making countless cultivators look extremely excited. Tianzhou, which is closest to Qingzhou, was also the fastest to get the news. At this moment in Tianzhou. Brother, have you heard? Kunlun is actually going to recruit disciples, a cultivator said to the people around him. After hearing this, the people around him suddenly jumped up as if they were stimulated and exclaimed. What? Is it? Is it the Kunlun in Qingzhou? Do you need to be so excited? You're scaring me to death. The cultivator cursed and continued. Yes, who dares to call themselves Kunlun in the southern wilderness except Kunlun in Qingzhou? Haven't you seen that those top forces dare not offend Kunlun? Hearing this, everyone nodded in affirmation, and then the cultivator said, moreover, I heard that Kunlun will not look at talent or cultivation when recruiting disciples this time, but only test character and character. As soon as these words came out, 1,000 waves were immediately aroused, and everyone's faces were extremely excited and shocked. Because they are all some casual cultivators, their talents and cultivation are even more mediocre, and that's why they were extremely excited after hearing the words of the cultivator. This also means that they may also have the opportunity to become Kunlun's disciples, Just hearing it makes people excited all over. In their eyes, Kunlun is now more powerful than the top 10 overlords in the southern wilderness, because these top overlords have never been like this when facing the Jun family. This has to make them guess that Kunlun's strength has reached a terrible idea, that is, there is a saint in Kunlun. Because of this, for these casual cultivators, becoming Kunlun's disciples is a step to heaven. However, some people obviously still don't believe it, and then someone questioned it. Brother, don't lie to us. Kunlun is now rumored to be more powerful than the top hegemons. How could it recruit some untalented disciples? Yes. Yes. How could a sect like Kunlun recruit disciples without considering their talents? Then, many people echoed, big guys, if you think it's good, can you please give the author a good review? Thank you. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the love power you sent to the author. Thank you. Chapter 50 The Ancient Secret Realm is about to be revealed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Many monks didn't believe it, because such a powerful sect accepted disciples without looking at talent. How is that possible? Although most people still have doubts about Kunlun's strength, but being able to make countless forces in the southern wasteland fear and dare not offend is enough to show that Kunlun has the strength of a top overlord. Even if you say you don't care about your cultivation level, it's okay. After all, as long as your talent is extraordinary, your cultivation level can be ignored. But Kunlun actually doesn't value both aspects. This is hard for everyone to believe. No sect force on the Xinwu continent would accept a disciple without talent. Wouldn't that lower the strength of his sect? Hear the words, the monk continued with a serious look. You didn't know this. That Kunlun is a hidden sect. Its foundation is extremely powerful. People don't care how talented you are at all. As soon as these words came out. Everyone present took a breath. The rumors were true. Kunlun is really a hidden sect. Very good. In this way, we also have the opportunity to become Kunlun's disciples. Everyone's face was excited, their hearts were extremely excited, and they were all moved at this moment. For them, even if they could become Kunlun's outer disciples, that would be enough to roam the southern wilderness territory. No. It's because I'm a high-ranking person. Even the handyman disciples can bring glory to their ancestors. Then, brothers, take the first step. After the words fell, all the young monks who had no sect to rely on rushed towards Qingzhou. Damn it! You don't know how to be civilized. Wait for me. The monk stood there dumbfounded and looked at everyone who was walking away, and immediately cursed. He wished he had an extra leg and hurriedly caught up, at the same time. In all major states, this scene was also being played out at this time. After countless monks who had no sect to rely on learned the news, they all rushed to Kunlun, Qingzhou with all their lives. In just a short time, countless monks appeared in the sky above the entire southern wilderness territory, flying quickly through the sky. The scene was so grand and spectacular that those who didn't know it thought some heavenly material or earthly treasure had been born. Countless people from big and small forces looked at the scene in front of them and were amazed. Kunlun's influence is really huge. Yes. Recruiting a disciple can cause people from the entire southern wilderness region to keep coming. No wonder the family head/sect leader told us not to offend the people of Kunlun. Yes. If you encounter people from Kunlun in the future, you should stay away, that they really couldn't believe that Kunlun, which suddenly appeared, changed the pattern of the southern wasteland in less than a month, and this time, Jun's family in Yaochi Palace in Huangzhou, Jun family, in a large hall, the fifth ancestor of the Jun family sat on the main seat, his abyss-like eyes full of solemnity and fear. Fifth ancestor, are you talking about those members of my Jun family who suspect that Kunlun is an ancient hidden sect like those ancient forces that have revived in recent times? Jun Wuhui said with a horrified expression, his eyes full of shock. He had just learned about this from the fifth patriarch, it really shocked him. Hiss! What an ancient sect! As far as he knew, every hidden sect was an ancient force and tribe that had been inherited for hundreds of thousands or even millions of years. Even his Jun family wants to avoid his sharp edge and dare not make an enemy of him. Although he didn't believe that Kunlun was a hidden sect before, he couldn't help but believe it now. These words came from the mouths of those with real background in his Jun family. Think of this, Jun Wuhui's heart trembled violently at this moment. Although the Jun family is also a powerful force that has been inherited for more than 100,000 years, its foundation is so powerful that even there is more than one being above the Heavenly King realm, from the existence that took action in Kunlun that day. It can be seen that the Jun family's background is far from being as simple as everyone in the southern wasteland has seen. At this point, I am afraid that except for the Yaochi Palace in the southern wasteland, all the top forces have always believed that the Jun family only exists in the Heavenly King realm. He would never have thought that the Jun family had someone higher than the Heavenly King, even so, but compared with those ancient forces whose movements are at least hundreds of thousands of years old, the two are not on the same level at all. But I have to say that the Jun family's foundation is indeed strong. Hear the words. You must not conflict with Kunlun in the near future. I didn't expect that there is a saint in Kunlun. That the fifth ancestor of the Jun family looked down at Jun Wuhui with a solemn expression and said in a deep voice, then his face softened, as if he thought of something and continued. The ancient secret realm will be born in a month. I learned the news from Yaochi Palace. This time the ancient secret realm will be different from the past. Hearing this, Jun Wuhui was stunned for a moment. Was it different? Are there any secrets in the ancient secret realm? Fifth patriarch. What do you mean, that the fifth ancestor of the Jun family? I don't know exactly what the difference is. The news came from the person behind Yaochi Palace. Hiss. It turns out to be the existence behind Yaochi Palace. Jun Wuhui was very sensible and did not continue to ask. The presence of power at that level was beyond what the Jun family could speak of. At the same time, in the Yaochi Palace, the face of the current palace master Lin Shi was filled with frost, and he was extremely angry that Kunlun dared to take action against them that day. Lin Yu, the acting palace lord, said. Master, that Kunlun is so brave. He dares not to take my Yaochi Palace seriously and dares to attack you. I beg Master to invite a saint from my Yaochi Palace to be born and teach Kunlun a lesson. That if the five ancestors of the Jun family hadn't summoned a member of the Jun family and taken them away that day, she would have definitely believed that her master would have awakened a member of the Yaochi Palace to teach Kunlun a lesson. Sure enough, although Yaochi Palace ranks behind the Jun family among the top overlords in the southern wasteland, its foundation is also extremely powerful, not to mention that the background behind him is even more terrifying. That is a holy place. It is the real superpower in the southern wasteland. This is why Lin Shi clearly knows that there are saints in Kunlun, but still doesn't take Kunlun seriously. This is enough to show that both the Yaochi Palace itself and the background behind it are extremely powerful. Hear the words. Lin Yu, a beautiful woman in palace attire who was also Lin Shi's master and the previous palace master, also looked ugly at this time. Humph. The ancient secret realm will be born in a month. This matter is more important. Let's let Kunlun live for a while first. Lin Yu said coldly that Kunlun was seeking death if he dared to attack her. She also wanted to destroy Kunlun, but now that the ancient secret realm was about to be born, she could not delay more important things because of Kunlun. Indeed. Now not only the southern wilderness region, but also the major forces in other major regions are preparing for the ancient secret realm. because this time the secrets in the ancient secret realm will completely appear in this life, PS/. Guys, the author is coding like crazy. Guys, if you think it looks good, please give the author a good review and urge for updates. It would be even better if you could help the author with some power generation for love. Thank you guys for your support.